Home Secretary Sala Braverman is set to be given powers to disregard injunctions from the Strasbourg court under plans to toughen up the illegal migration bill. Defiant European judges are preparing to fight back over the UK's plans to ignore injunctions blocking the removal of migrants. It is understood Rishi Sunak has reached a deal with a group of Tory rebels to amend the illegal migration bill to allow ministers to disregard Rule 39 orders from the European Court of Human Rights in some instances. The so-called pajama injunctions were used late at night by a European judge to ground the first flight to Rwanda at the 11th hour. But the Telegraph cited senior Strasbourg sources as warning the plans would undermine individuals' rights and freedoms under the European Convention on Human Rights. A European court source told the newspaper, under the convention system, interim measures, Rule 39, play a vital role in avoiding irreversible situations that would prevent national courts and/or the court from properly examining convention complaints and, where appropriate, securing to the applicant the practical and effective benefit of the convention rights asserted. A failure by a respondent state to comply with interim measures undermines the effectiveness of the right of individual application guaranteed by Article 34 and the state's formal undertaking in Article 1 to protect the rights and freedoms set forth in the Convention. It comes as the Prime Minister hopes to see off a backbench rebellion, with other amendments expected to include requiring British judges to decide a deportation would cause serious and irreversible harm in order to block it. But a former Lord Chief Justice warned that such proposals could face defeat in the Lords. Lord Thomas, a crossbench peer who headed the judiciary between 2013 and 2017, told BBC Radio 4's Today programme, "I think it is a very serious step for the government to be contemplating putting into force." He added, "Many people would say having the power to ignore a court order is something unless the circumstances were quite extraordinary. This is a step a government should never take because it is symbolic of a breach of the rule of law." The bill has been at the center of controversy, with critics warning the proposed legislation leaves the UK foul of its international obligations and opposition parties dismissing it as unworkable. Right-wing Tory MPs have signalled it does not go far enough, with some calling for ministers to take Britain out of the European Convention on Human Rights to drive through tighter border controls. Others on the Liberal wing want to see the Prime Minister commit to establishing safe routes via which asylum seekers can come to Britain. Immigration Minister Robert Jenrick said he expected strong support for the legislation from Tory MPs. He said Mr. Sunak and Ms. Braverman wanted the strongest, most robust legislation possible so that we can stop the boats. He said, "I'm very confident that we have strong support from Conservative members of Parliament, and as soon as we do get it through we will be putting it into action so we can secure the borders and give the British public the fair and robust asylum system that they want and deserve." The government's illegal migration bill is aimed at changing the law to make it clear people arriving in the UK illegally will not be able to remain in the country. They will either be sent back to their home country or to a nation like Rwanda with which Britain has a deal. Although legal challenges mean no flights carrying migrants have taken off for Kigali, the Prime Minister has made curbing channel crossings one of the 5 main priorities of his leadership. More than 5,000 migrants have arrived in the UK after making the dangerous journey so far this year.